Hey everybody, Blackninja797 here, and welcome back to another video. And in today's video, as I'm blinding you guys with the strobe light known as the sun that I currently have hanging out my window, I want to end up making a gaming set video for you guys, because I have actually not done one of these in absolutely in ages. And as you can see, just based off of just me doing this 360 camera view, my setup has changed a lot in the last couple years, especially since the last one. My gaming set videos seem to be coincidentally every 2 years or so. I did one in 2016, two of them in 2016 actually, and then I also did one in 2018, and now I'm doing one in 2020. And I actually have a lot of cool stuff that I want to show you guys here. So if you end up enjoying this video at all, please consider dropping a thumbs up. Is always greatly appreciated. And subscribe, why not, if you're new, because that will let you guys know when I'm uploading more videos like this. But let's begin with the very first thing. And the thing that you guys probably want to see the most is actually my computer, which you guys have been staring at this whole entire time. This is my gaming computer. Well, this is more rather my gaming computer. Here it is right down here. This is actually the iBuy brand, the iBuy Power brand. And this is my very first actual gaming computer desktop. Now, this thing is my baby, and I really do enjoy it. I take really good care of this thing. It's got cool features, like it's got the different rotating colored lights. Like at night, this looks absolutely sick, and I really love this. One of my favorite things. I've always loved stuff that just glows in the dark. It even has a glow-in-the-dark, like rainbow mouse and a glow-in-the-dark keyboard. And the monitor I picked out, even though it's the cheapest one from Best Buy, still very good quality, and I highly recommend getting the type of monitor like this. Best Buy sells some pretty good stuff, not gonna lie. So for my iBuy Power computer, you guys are probably wondering, oh hey, what is, like, let's say the specs, or like let's say is the gigabytes, crap like that, which is actually what I want to talk about with you guys. So I'm just gonna set the camera aside here just for 1 second, so I can actually pull up my computer video that I made about roughly a year ago. And basically in that video, in the description, I actually specified what the gigs were and stuff like that. So let's see, Black Ninja gaming setup. Actually, no, I rather should type in Black Ninja gaming PC, because I'll actually get that specific video to pop up. Okay, so looking at the description for the video, I actually said that I had a 8 gigs of RAM, a 1060 graphics card, and then also a Intel Core i9 processor. So that is actually what I have inside of this thing right now, based off the description that I wrote for the video that I actually made. Now, this was actually exactly a year ago, almost pretty much, like a little over a year ago, rather. This was made in January 2019, and I got the thing at the end of 2018 for like Christmas. So that is actually pretty cool how the things have changed in just like a couple of years. Currently right now I'm actually using this thing to upload a video for you guys, and also I'm updating Photoshop at the same time because I need that to make thumbnails. So this is my computer, and this is my monitor. The monitor actually will move up and down and like back and forth. It's got like a, I don't know exactly what you would call this, but a bendable stand. You can see the kind of like grooves and indents on how it kind of looks like a gear almost. I'm not going to move it right now because I'm actively using it, but you guys get the general gist. Now, alongside that, I also do have my Xbox. Now, my Xbox is just a standard Xbox One. There's no Xbox One S. There's no Xbox, White Edition. It's just the plain old Xbox One from 2013, or in my case, 2015 when I got it. Now, this thing has been really frustrating over the last couple of years, like ever since I've had it. I honestly much preferred the 360, but this thing still gets me by, and this is where my friends are at, is all on Xbox, so that's why I've stuck through with this for as long as I have. And I have just a normal like desktop TV basic looking type of setup for my Xbox. I don't have a monitor like I do with my computer. That was an upgrade. I almost never do monitors, but I was like, hey, I'm not gonna get a TV for my Xbox. For my PC rather, so I just decided to end up doing that. And then, as you can see, there's also a couple of other things back here. I got my Blue Snowball microphone. I've got the Nintendo Switch inside of its dock. I've actually got a hard drive back there, that blue thing for my Xbox, an extra terabyte worth of hard drive space. And then I've got my SCUF Xbox controller and my Nintendo Switch Pro controller. and I actually want to show you all these real quick. So basically, if we go behind the setup here, you can see that this is just kind of like a jumbled set of wires and everything. You got the Elgato back there, the Elgato HD60, the controllers, my TV remote. It's not necessarily the most prettiest setup back here, but it still beats having like wires hanging around. I kind of just stuffed and shoved them inside of that back dresser. So one of the things I actually wanted to show that was actually kind of cool is with the Nintendo Switch Pro controller, you actually can use control freaks on this thing. I've never seen Nintendo Switch controllers in general, like I'm not even necessarily a pro controller, but just Nintendo Switch controller control freaks. And these are the Xbox One ones, and they actually fit, which is actually kind of funny. I have the Inferno ones, so now it's kind of like this red and black design, which is really, really sick. And I really do like this, and I do much enjoy using the Switch Pro controller over like the Switch default controllers, just because those are wonky, and this reminds me a lot of an Xbox, so I honestly prefer this. And then we get over to something that you obviously were expecting, just because I mentioned a few minutes ago, is my SCUF. So this is my SCUF Pro controller for my Xbox One. You guys know me, that my main thing is Xbox. So if I was going to get anything to enhance my gaming capabilities, it would be a SCUF gaming controller for my Xbox. I know I have a PC and I could be like a PC guy, or I know I could end up just saving money and get maybe like a PlayStation or I could even invest in the Switch, even if that's a thing as pro Switch players. But everyone's got their different beliefs, but my home is just Xbox. Just because it's where I met all my friends and everything. And I was just like, why not get a SCUF controller for this? So this is my Xbox One SCUF controller. I did the design, I actually customized this. This was a birthday gift to myself, basically. I got an all blue design just because I really like blue. It's my favorite color. And I got a digital camo military kind of design for the base. And I've got like chrome blue kind of like all the way around and everything. Blue buttons. I even got blue thumbsticks. Now these are actually removable thumbsticks. This is how I did the broken controller equivalent video on Modern Warfare back at the end of 2019. And these are just the default thumbsticks when you take them off, because these are actually magnetic and they're interchangeable. Now, however, though, these are not just the default thumbsticks. These are actually Modern Warfare control freaks on these thumbsticks. And so the blue just happens to match it. So I was just like, oh, hey, why not? Let's match that together. So I'm actually going to put the camera real quick back down here on to the dresser. Oops, sorry about that. Keep that there. Now, this is one thing I wanted to show you guys with the controller, by the way, is that if we put these back on here, right, this is actually the default fingers size for the thumbstick. Now, for the thumbstick is once again also blue, but the thumbstick and then also the handles back here in particular are like a grippy texture. I did this on purpose because the one thing that I don't like about the Xbox One is the controller. I've never liked the Xbox One controller. I really haven't. I actually will show you guys a original Xbox One controller for comparison's sake, but this is the default Xbox One controller. We've all seen them over the last couple years, obviously. Like, they're a black color. The battery pack is in here. Shut up, computer. And then we have the just kind of normal button layout. Now, the thing is, I honestly think that the best controller is the 360 controller. But these Xbox One controllers, I really don't like them, especially the thumbsticks. They make this loud, clinkety-clackety sound, and they tend to get jammed. There was one problem about my Xbox controller that finally made me make the switch to the SCUF, was where my controller had a thumbstick that was stuck leaning forward a little bit. So instead of it being completely flat like this, it slightly leaned like that. And it's barely noticeable on the looks of the controller, but in the game, that's very crucial. Because what would happen is I would play things like Fortnite, right? And I'm in a 1x1, and the controller, since it has like a leaning thumbstick, unless I'm actively resisting and actually pulling downward, it would always keep making me move or sprint, actually, because it would make like an auto run feature almost within the controller, if that makes any sense. Like, the controller became my auto run, even if I turned it off. And it got frustrating because I could sit like in a sky base in Fortnite, right? And if I don't resist the controller, I'm just going to keep moving, and I'll be on the edge of something, and I can like fall off. And it really gets annoying, and it gets me killed a lot of the time. So that's why I actually ended up making the switch, because it doesn't do that with the SCUF. It's actually not meant to do that. This is actually a really professional, well-made controller, and I've been using this for the last while. I really do like this. You can end up doing it wireless or even wired. I have a giant cable that I have hooked in my Xbox right now. But this is the thing that I love the most. This is actually what makes the controller, is the paddles. So within the back of the controller, there is these 4 little paddles right here where the batteries go. And basically what this does is that this is to represent all the main buttons on the interface of the controller, which is X, Y, B, and A. Now, X, Y, B, and A, as you guys know, is like reload, switch weapons, crouch, or jump. And when you're playing a first-person shooter, right, this is your moving stick, this is your looking stick, and then these are your buttons that you interact with. Now, like, let's say you're in a gunfight, right? If you're in a gunfight and you're running at somebody, and then you see somebody and you need to end up shooting them, but like, let's say you want a drop shot, if you have to take your finger and hit B, you're taking it off of the thumbstick that you're using to look. So it actually can mess up your aim. Like, let's say he's side strafing, and you need to drop shot plus keep track of where he's going to aim onto him. It's just a hard, convoluted process. You kind of have to do like this weird thing like claw, like some people do. And I don't really like that. So what this does is that this allows you to keep your fingers on the thumbsticks at all times. So like, for example, this is A, then X, and then Y, and then B. So for example, if I'm like, let's say in a gunfight, right? And like, let's say I want a drop shot. I can hold the controller like this, and I can see a guy, and I can hit this paddle, and I can prone and still keep my gun locked onto him, and it will allow me to kill him much, much easier. So that's why I really honestly like the Scuff. And it helps me out so much in games, and I would highly, highly recommend, if you guys genuinely want to make your games more fun, more easy, and just overall perform better at games, invest into a Scuff controller, whether it's Xbox or PlayStation. These things are amazing, and they're definitely worth the money. And then I would say that for the Xbox One, personally, I really hope that what they do with the next Xbox is I hope that they allow you to be able to end up carrying these controllers over, because there's a supposed rumor that the Xbox Scorpio or whatever, the Xbox Scarlet or something like that. I don't even remember the name of the new Xbox just because it's such a convoluted name. I just wish they called it like the Xbox 2 or whatever, to be honest. But the controller for the Xbox One supposedly can be used on that new console. So that's the case, I can carry the Scuff controller over, which would be great for me. So I'm hoping that's the case. And then we go into the cool stuff down here. This is like my secret stash. So for my secret stash down here, I've actually got all my games plus a whole bunch of like different gaming consoles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys my stuff down here. And I actually end up having all my games. So down here, I've got all my Xbox One and 360 games. And then down here, I also have got my DS games and my Switch games. So I've got Zelda Breath of the Wild plus Super Smash. And then I've also got Pokemon Omega Ruby, Kirby Triple Deluxe. I also end up having Kirby Epic Yarn. I got Super Smash Bros. On the DS, and I also got Luigi's Dark Moon. And then also, as well, I also happen to have my games on the Switch and my Xbox that are downloads. Same thing with my PC. And then we go up here, and then this is also my other stash. This is where like all the consoles and everything go. This is all my Xbox One controllers and my old headsets that I honestly don't really use anymore. This is my old Turtle Beach before I got Astros. That's my Astros A50s that are back there. I use those for Xbox and PC. I highly recommend those. Even though I did like Turtle Beach for the longest time, I still do. Astros is definitely better. I would highly recommend getting an Astro A50, or just Astros in general. So these are all my Xbox One controllers. This is my Switch controller shell. You got like DS chargers and like mic adapters and stuff like that in here. And these are all my consoles. So I've got a original Nintendo DS. I've got a Nintendo 2DS, I've got a Nintendo 3DS XL, and I got a Game Boy Advanced SP. This is like the generations of like all the Nintendo handheld consoles. So we'll end up pulling out, like, let's say the normal DS for a second, all right? So let's end up pulling out the normal DS. I'll place the camera back down yet again. And this is one of my first gaming consoles. My first one absolutely was the Wii, but this was my second, was the Nintendo DS. And this still works. I take care of all this stuff so they all still work if I ever want to go back to them. But this is the old original Nintendo DS. And if you actually end up flicking the switch, this actually does work still. It's actually really cool. Like, watch the old boot up. Isn't that sweet? So that's actually the original Nintendo DS, and I really do like that a lot. And I've used this thing for so many years. I ended up using this a lot when I was a kid, and it's really, really just brings back memories. And I had a whole bunch of cool features for it. Like I had an old case and everything that held all the games. You got like New Super Mario Bros, Phineas and Ferb, Draw to Life Next Chapter, Lego, Batman, Wipeout, WWE. I've got some other games in here like I Spy Funhouse and like some things based off like kids cartoons. And I remember playing things like PictoChat on the Nintendo DS and drawing stuff with like my neighbors and stuff for like hours. This was the ultimate thing. In fact, I actually watched a video recently by the Fine Brothers, or like the Fine Bros React channel. I haven't watched something from them in years because I just personally don't like their channel anymore after their scandal thing. But I watched a video randomly just because it happened to pop up in a topic I was looking at. I was looking at old school gaming consoles, and it was like the seniors and kids and teenagers all try to react and try to guess the top 10 gaming consoles. And the Nintendo DS is the second supposed best-selling console ever across PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo. Like the DS, the original DS is the second best, and right before it was the PlayStation 2, which I'm surprised the DS ranked that high. I don't know if that's accurate, but that just sounds cool. Now the next thing is the 2DS. So basically the 2DS is actually a smaller, cheaper version of the 3DS. So the 3DS is this. So it's a bigger, badder, normal DS. So with this, you got a 3D mode, obviously. The screen is like super, super big because it's the XL, and it's got a whole bunch of different features. Now, going from the Nintendo DS to the Nintendo 3DS and the Nintendo 2DS, this is a big jump because this was the first console portable-wise after the Game Boy. The Game Boy line was like the pre DS line. So basically, you had Game Boy, you had Game Boy Color, and then Game Boy Advance. Then you had things like Game Boy Advance SP and like the see-through brand and everything. And this was like the early prototype DS. Like you can see like the flipping mechanic like just getting started, even in the early 90s. And then you get the DS. And then they had the DSi, and then the 3DS and the 2DS. And the DSi and the 2DS and the 3DS were the first ones that were starting to implement like internet capabilities so you can like browse the web and everything. Now, the 2DS has actually no bending capabilities. It's just a flat box. But it's still really cool because you can actually do things on here that you actually can't do on the Nintendo DS. Like I was saying, like you have internet access. So both the 2DS and the 3DS actually have access to things that like the Xbox One and like the PlayStation have. Like for example, there's YouTube and Netflix on here. Like you would never expect that for a DS. That's actually really, really cool in my opinion. I honestly think that that's actually pretty sick. And then we end up loading up the DS, 3DS XL. And this is what this looks like. And I can actually give a funny backstory about this here in a second once this is done loading up. But this is actually really, really cool. I really like how that the DSs have changed over time. They're actually really, really sick. I really am happy that I got this. Funnily enough, this is actually my brother's 3DS, but what happened was that he just didn't want it anymore, so it was just chilling in the basement, and I was allowed to have it. My mom was just like, hey, do you want this? I'm like, sure, why not? So now I actually got a 3DS for free, which is really cool. I honestly am very, very happy about that. And then this is the last thing. This is the Game Boy Advanced SP. I like collecting old school video games and consoles, so I got this from Disc Replay. And if you actually end up turning this on, it just loads up the game immediately. It doesn't actually have like a main menu. But you can see the old graphics and the way that the games just loaded up originally. It's actually really sick. And you can see how big the cartridges were. This is actually a Pokemon Yellow inside the game. So you're going to see Pikachu running around here in a second. I'm actively playing the crap out of this campaign. And it's actually really, really fun. But you can see the old little graphics. Look at that. This is like 90s arcade stuff. Isn't this sweet? This is actually super sick. I'll make it full screen for you guys so you can see it a little bit better. But this is absolutely sick, and I really am glad that I have the ability to have stuff like this and go back in the past and experience some of the stuff that people may not have. Like, for me, just because I'm not able to experience this as it happened, that doesn't mean I can't go back. So that's what I actually decided to do, is I just buy old gaming consoles sometimes, and that's really, really sick to me. And that honestly makes me really happy. Now this is the last thing. You may have seen this a second ago when I actually opened up the previous drawer. This is actually something you may not know about unless you're like from the early 2000s. So back when I was young, before I had like a Wii or an Xbox or whatever have you, there was these things that a lot of people played for old school games, and they were called plug and plays. And you'll know exactly what I'm talking about if you've seen one of these when you were little. Basically, what this is that these were mini arcade games meant for your house. So, for example, this is a simple just Joy-Con, 2 buttons, and then like the main menu button and then the switch down here for power. And it had the old school white and yellow cables that you plug in. This was like the pre-HDMI era. And you would plug this in, you would have 5 games built into the controller. It may be a Miss Pac-Man game controller, but it actually has 5 different games on the whole entire console. They're all laid out like right here. And this particular game, Mappy, I remember this game. This game had such famous music that I don't even know what you could compare something in terms of this music. Like, when you hear it, you know what it is right away, and there's nothing that can beat that music. Like, it's like, you know how like you have iconic music that you just have in video games, right? Like, you got anywhere from like Minecraft music to the Black Ops 1 and the Black Ops 2 menu music. You got so much famous gaming music. That game in particular, Mappy, has some of the most famous music that is like unexcusably awesome, and you cannot forget it if you played that as a kid, and you can't mistake it for anything either. You know what it was if you played it before. In fact, I'm actually going to load this up for you guys right now so you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm actually going to load up Mappy's theme song, and I'm going to play it for you guys so you know what it is. Mappy theme. So I actually got a video loaded up here right now, and this is the Mappy theme song. Maybe it'll load. This was famous in the early 2000s. Like, that's just the general gist of it, but, like, that was a really catchy song as a kid. And I know it says the copyright's, like, 83, but a lot of these things, like, these portable consoles were made, like, in the early 2000s. They were also popular in the early 2000s. So that's pretty much it for that. Everything else is actually in my living room and my other parts of my house. And my family's home right now, and I don't want to necessarily interrupt what they're doing, but just have to take my word for it that I also do have a Xbox 360, as you guys know if you've been with the channel for a while. And I actually have a Nintendo Wii, which is actually pretty cool. And I actually have a old Atari system called an Atari Paddle, which is a lot like this, where it's just a controller that also is the console at the same time. I was actually trying to hook that up in my living room earlier today, which is why I don't actually have it on me. But those are also my other gaming consoles. And I also have the other games recording with it as well. So that's pretty much it for the gaming setup, guys. I hope you did end up enjoying, and if you did, please leave a like. It would mean a lot to me. It really would. And hopefully you guys got to take a trip down memory lane with me, or just see some cool stuff that's a part of gaming history, because a lot of the stuff never sees the light of day. You almost never see it. It's all about the new Xbox or PlayStation or PC or new game or whatever have you. And I just like to take a trip down memory lane. I'm a very big nostalgic person, and it was just super cool to end up doing this. And hopefully things like the Mappy theme song will make you happy as well, like it did me when I was a kid. And I really hope it doesn't copyright me, because I have no idea if that's copyrighted. So let's hope it's not. Anyways, guys, like I said, hope you enjoyed. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, please leave a comment, please also subscribe. And I'll see you guys all in the next one. Thank you for watching, guys. And since I already played this once, if I'm going to get copyrighted, might as well just do it twice anyways. Let's play Mappy again.